I mean, this is bigger than Watergate. This is bigger than anything. I mean, you're looking at the next Nuremberg trial here, folks. So the deep state is panicking. They're trying to censor the truth from getting out on all social media. They're trying to say it's all Russian bots. They're lying about everything. And then on the flip side, you have the Democrats doing everything they can to try to maintain any political power by bringing in non-citizens and trying to steal elections like I believe they did in Alabama. But Jeff Sessions shows he has a pulse, and the Department of Justice told 23 local governments today that they must prove they are abiding by immigration law if they want to continue receiving money under a federal crime-fighting program, turning up the heat over the issue known as sanctuary cities. So, of course, if you are a sanctuary city, you are not abiding by immigration law. But again, this is the Democrats. This is how they steal elections. Now, Ashton believes that she has discovered an attempt at future voter fraud in Nevada to try to turn it blue. But isn't it, Ashton, just real quick, I mean, what do you think about the desperation and the panic mode in the Democrats, in the deep state right now? I mean, they are really against the ropes right now.
Well, you see, we have a president like Trump, who is obviously not attached to establishment. He is their worst nightmare. And it comes down to the fact that all of these Democrats, they want to bring in illegal votes. They target the minorities like the women and the black communities and the immigrants. And they use these people, nothing more, for votes and taxpayer dollars. They don't actually care about these communities. They only care about them for the 2 seconds they're in the polls. And so what happens is they make these events like the Women's March, and they target these people, and they're willing to get illegal votes just to stay in power. And it's all tied down to what you just said, the New World Order. And I really think the Democratic Party is tied to that through these votes. They don't care about state laws. They just want one giant government.
Yeah, it's just another angle of control for them. And obviously the Democrats are full open with the open borders, the genocide of the children. They call it abortion. So yeah, it goes along with everything else that the Satanists and the New World Order wants. But retreating back real quick, let's talk about your experience, because you went to Vegas actually to cover the Women's March. We were talking about our experience in New York and in California and in Austin. Obviously, the hatred, the violence, the vitriol, the spitting. I can't believe I'm saying this, the farting. But this is actually happening. What did you experience in Vegas?
Oh, it's the same, basically the same thing you did. Essentially, these people don't care about womanhood. They don't care about standing up for women. They just care about basically whatever is going to brainwash their own communities. I spoke right next to Juanita Broderick the day prior, one of the most wonderful women I've ever met. Do the Women's March care about her? Do they care about what she went through with Bill Clinton? Absolutely not. Instead, they're brainwashed by people like Linda Sarsour, who preaches about Islamic terrorism, and they're completely just hypnotized by the Democratic Party and people like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if you knew this, but I wore my Bill Clinton rape T-shirt out to New York, to these protests. You know how many of the Me Too women's marchers commented on that and stood with Juanita Broderick? And none. Not one. But all of them seemed to be fully triggered by my Trump scarf, which made them react in a violent way. So it's funny how that works, huh?
Oh, absolutely. They're so obsessed with comments like grabbing by the, I'm not going to say it because I'm a lady, but yet they're dressing themselves up as, that, and they're completely degrading women by running through the streets with barely any clothes on, calling themselves sluts and whores. And it's just, Do you think this is empowering? Why not stand by the by the women who are being treated like dirt in Iran? Why not stand by women like Juanita Broderick, who has actually been sexually assaulted by Hillary Clinton's husband, Hillary Clinton, who you all praised for years?
Well, and that's why they won't address it, because these people hate the truth. It hits them like a ton of bricks, and they just can't really handle that. But again, it's really, and I had one of them ask me, like, well, why are you out here? What are you doing out here? And I said, there's people out there that are on the fence or neutral politically, or maybe they're not sure what to think about all this. And when I come out here and I expose you for being an absolute ignorant fool who really isn't out here for women, just to hate Trump, and then they start screaming and gnashing at the teeth and everything that you see, and the violence and the hatred. And then I'm like, that's why I'm out here, to capture your hatred, to show the world how much of a fraud you are, and they just give it to me. They just give me the gold. They do exactly what I want, and they don't understand that there's people out there that are in the middle of the road. They're going to see that video and say, you know what? I'm not even sure if I agree with this conservative politically, but I'll be damned if I'm going to be on the same side as that hate-filled, degenerate.
And his only debate with you is that Alex Jones said the frogs are turning gay, which, by the way, you actually can look into. Was a research study done by a UC Berkeley professor. So the fact is, we have the facts, we have the research, and they can't even think of proper arguments, and they ignore the facts, like Juanita Broderick and what's going on in Iran, which is exactly why Women's March are so pathetic, really. And so the reality is we're on the right side, and people are going to catch on, whether it's late now or later.
It's so funny that you said that, because we had multiple people. I mean, obviously you know this, but our audience saw this, but we had people from California to New York, literally the entire scope of America, coming up to InfoWars reporters saying gay frogs. It happens every time.
It's an actual chemical. You can look it up.
I know.
I mean,
it's so actually no. So I think what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to start carrying around like little business cards or like pamphlets that like cite the study, like cite the study and say, yeah, it's atrazine, it's actually going on, and give it to them. Actually, that would be a good video, because they would totally fall for it too. So it's really just incredible. One more thing before we let you go here, Ashton. I believe that the social media gatekeepers are censoring and sabotaging unlike anything we've ever seen before. We had a video that was on the Alex Jones show. It was on Drudge Report for over 24 hours. It might still be on Drudge Report, actually. I haven't checked yet today. It looks like it is finally down from Drudge Report. It was on Drudge Report over 24 hours. It was on the Savage Nation. Easily a video like that should get 1 million views. Hasn't even hit 100,000 yet. I believe they're stepping up the sabotage and the censorship more than anything else.
100%.
Have you experienced anything like that recently?
Absolutely. My latest video, people can't find, people are starting not to be able to see my videos in their feed, even though they're subscribed to me. And so I can't but think maybe YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they're starting to catch on to what I'm doing, despite the fact I'm only about 60,000 views. But they're starting to catch on to me. I think they're trying to block the truth, and especially my Women's March video. That's where it got really weird, because that seems to be the most censored, despite the fact that that's the most information I'm trying to get out.
I'm going to say this too, and because you said that, I think for whatever reason, they knew that this Women's March was going to make them look so bad that they have been sabotaging this. And I actually believe that they were using Stingray equipment out in the streets of New York to sabotage our videos and to sabotage our cell service. And I think I've got enough circumstantial evidence to not be considered a conspiracy theorist. But we'll see what happens with that, because we need to look into the serial spitter still, and exactly what he was doing and why the police decided to let him go. So Ashton Witty, go to her YouTube channel. They're trying to censor her just like they are trying to censor us as much as they can. They're trying to just erase us from the internet, say we're a Russian bot, and delete us. Her YouTube channel, Ashton Birdie, her Twitter account, Ashton Birdie Ashton. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.